go to Vietnam and try and help save Vietnam, or we could stand by and do nothing and let the communists just do what they wanted and take over the world, which we weren't going to do.
They were flying 18 hours a day. They would just fall out on a plane's wing for a half-hour cat nap between launches and then be back. And but then again, we always knew we had friends that were laying in the mud over there. Most of us had people that went to join the Marines or the Army or different places, so we were doing our job to maybe make their job a little easier.
I think most of the American people realized that what we did there, we did in the best interest of the people we were trying to help. It just didn't work out, so I think there were lessons learned.
Welcome everyone to the Intrepid. We are inside a naval airship. This is a massive vessel that was very important to U.S. military history. So I'm going to show you around today through the USS Intrepid. No, I did not have, this research is not researched, this video is not researched beforehand. So anything that we might talk about, do your own research afterwards. Of course, I know a lot about American history, I know a little bit about the history of the wars, but do take everything you hear with a grain of salt and make your own research. So here is a reproduction of the vessel we're standing inside right now. Look at this. This is a USS Intrepid. It is the length of how tall Chrysler Building is, which I'll show it to you in a bit. And there is the photo right behind it. So this is where we're standing right at this very moment. So this is the museum. And we're going to see a lot of old naval ships. We might see, if we're lucky and we have good service, we might see the captain's quarters and also the NASA space shuttle as well. So here's the hangar deck of the Intrepid, and you can see it is the same length as how tall the Chrysler Building is, 1,046 feet. Now the Intrepid is quite a lot of amount of levels. Here right now we are on what I think is the 4th hangar deck, but we're gonna go soon to the flight deck. So we can see all the piping over here. Look at this. Wow. Donald, you've been near the Intrepid, but never inside. I'm so glad I could take you inside. Yeah, I mean, even for New Yorkers, we rarely go here. I did not come here until 2 years ago when I did a Facebook Live video of the Intrepid. It is a popular tourist destination, but I think even if you're a tourist, it's a little bit out of the way, since it's all the way at 11th Avenue, right by the West Side Highway. So here's the bell. It says, Intrepid, what's in the name? When naming new ships, the Secretary of the Navy often honors earlier vessels with distinguished service records. 4 ships in the U.S. Navy have been named the Intrepid, which means courageousness or fearlessness, or courageous or fearless. The first Intrepid participated in the First Barbary War, 1801 to 1805, between the United States and the Barbary States of North Africa. Built in France in 1798, the ship was a 2-masted sailing vessel called a ketch. So that was the very first one to bestow the name, the Intrepid. Here's the Intrepid in the Cold War. Hello, SF Fields. Hello, Stephanie. You love my channel. So welcome everyone. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm Ariel with Urbanist, and as I do in many of my videos, we're taking a very sweet time with whatever catches our attention as we're walking around here. Again, do your own research. I did not research this tour beforehand, so I might talk about some history, but do your research after this. Let's continue walking around. Hey, Elle, you love my shirt. Oh, thank you, Elle. I'm so glad you do. Don't forget to show the Lego model of the ship. I did in the very beginning. Okay, yeah. If you want to see it, go to the very beginning of the video. Here's the propeller of the ship. It's gigantic. This is, what, 14, 15 feet tall, maybe more? How many? Goes 37 miles per hour. And it's 27,000 pounds. Hey, Cynthia, thank you for this amazing tour. You have great style. Also glad you do. Oh, yes, and super nice shirt. Thank you so much, Wendy. I appreciate it. Here's one of the first of many aircrafts we're gonna see. So this is the TBM Avenger. I like that name, the Avenger. Can you visit Submarine 2? That probably won't have service, but I'll point it out where it is in the museum from up above. Right below the Avenger has quite a big missile, ready for firing against enemy airplanes. Hey, Mighty Bull, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for a $2.99 super chat. Is the ship haunted? I don't know. I haven't heard any hauntings. It's a good question, SF Fields. That's a torpedo, indeed. Thank you, Euro Towel. Torpedo. Mr. Big Daz, you're enjoying this tour. I'm so glad you are. Hello, Alexandra. Bluesy, we're inside a air carrier. USS Intrepid. U.S. Navy air carrier. Kay says, yes, you're right. There's no service in the sub. Yeah, I can imagine. But hopefully I can show you the Concorde. So this is an ejection seat. So this is the Martin Baker ejection seat. First used in 1910, but the first really reliable ones were in the 1940s. Just in case your plane crashes, you can easily eject right before crash and parachute to safety. Here we got a Navy side chair. You know, if you're a normal office worker, you're going to be using that to get around. You always have such interesting tours. Well, the ship is doing all the work today. The ship is doing all the work today. I appreciate the compliment, but I'm just going by the signs. So pardon me if I'm mistaken, also military terms. They kind of get a little bit complicated, and sometimes with the weaponry, I don't know all the terms. A Navy cake. This is like a recreation of a Navy cake, a replica, not a real cake. I don't think so. Nanny cakes, or Navy cakes. Navy cakes, a slice of history. I like this. I didn't know we were going to learn about cakes.
Is for the guys, because they're working hard all over the ship. It was a good experience for them.
Life of cook, we had 3 cooks on board. And a normal sequence of days for, in other words, you would start for breakfast around 6 o'clock in the morning, and you would stay for lunch and cook dinner, and sleep all that day, all that next day, and get up and do the baking then the next night.
It's customary on a submarine when a person's birthday comes that the cook bakes a cake.
So I said, well, I got to use these eggs before they're all gone, so I was going to make a chiffon cake. And I don't know whether you have any idea how many egg whites it takes to make a chiffon cake for 90 men, but it's quite a few. But I used all the eggs we had left to make this chiffon cake.
And he'd gone into the control room and told him that he was baking, you know, so don't lose depth control. When you're snorkeling and you lose depth control, the head valve closes while the engines are still running, and they require air, and the only place to get it with the head valve shut is from inside the boat. So it sucks a tremendous vacuum in the boat.
I was on the dive and it was very rough, and a big wave came along and the head valve shut, and it was just at the point where the cakes were starting to rise and they just about got to their critical mass and height. The head valve opened. All the pressure from outside returned inside the boat. I heard a horrible blood-curdling scream coming from the galley, and I knew I was in for it.
And I went into the control room and gave a pretty good shoot. He'll admit to that, if you ask him, I think.
So here we have the different recipes. So they have chocolate cake, classic chocolate cake. We have cake donuts. Oh, that's really cool. Donut plant style. That's really cool. We got golden chiffon cake, lemon pie, chocolate cream pie. And here we got the menu of the submarine. So we got hot dinner bar. That's nice. What year was this? 1970. Creole spaghetti. Oh, interesting. We got chicken noodle soup.
Sheet, and each layer had 20 sheets. We had to put it on a bomb lid, bring the cake from the bakery up to the
Susan, you say not for claustrophobic. That's indeed true. Yeah, it's not for claustrophobic at all. So here we have another airplane. This is the North American Aviation FJ Fury. Ooh, the FJ Fury. I like that. FJ3s were originally equipped with slats, movable high-lift devices on the wing with leading edges, which we see right over here. These slats were later abandoned and replaced with a fixed leading edge extension on each wing. So these first became famous during the Korean War. So this first became famous in the Korean War. I have a lot of veterans in my family. My grandfather was a veteran of the Korean War. And he probably did not get on this plane. He was on the US Army, so he was on the ground. The lights are dimming for some reason. I think they're about to do a show. I think they're doing a show right over here. Let me know, does anyone have any family members that are veterans? You guys want to see the show? We got 2 minutes until show time. Eve Rivas, your father was in World War II. Yeah. Mine Air Force for Wendy. My dad was in the U.S. Army for the 50s. Did he serve in the Korean War, Road Warriors, since it was the 50s? Upper West Sider is a veteran. Oh, thank you so much for your service. U.S. Navy. Ooh, so if any veterans here watching or current military members, do let us know any extra facts or information. My grandfather landed in Omaha on D-Day, says Yorotao. Wow. Oh my God, that must have been Omaha. Omaha was quite a battlefield, right? On the Pacific front. Susie, your dad, Korean War. My cousin Beth is a Navy veteran. Here, ooh, this is a helicopter. When would this is the Piasecki Hoop 2 Retriever. HUP 2 Retriever. 1945, wow, they had helicopters back in 1945. Joe says I'll be doing myself in these live streams. Oh, I'm so glad you think so, Joe. Thank you for tuning in. The show starts like in a minute. Do you guys want to check out the show? Let me know. Here's the Mercury capsule replica. All right, it's starting. Let's go. Okay. Nitro says heck no, but a lot of people say yes. All right. Oh, a newsreel. I gotta pull up the volume, so adjust your headset.
The news of a nation at war. December 7th, 1941, Japanese aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor. And so begins a relentless advance across the Pacific. But the tide is turned, and American forces are now fighting their way westward. Led by the aircraft carriers of the United States Pacific Fleet. Here's just one of those fighting lifetops, the USS Intrepid. Launched in 1943 and known throughout the fleet as the Fighting Eye. But planes that fly from her deck have delivered a non-stop assault on enemy bases in the Pacific. Meantime, the Intrepid has proven that she can take whatever the Japanese throw at her, even their newest and deadliest weapons, kamikaze suicide planes.
General quarters, all hands being down. All hands being down. Non-relevant, repeat, non-relevant.
That's the way it goes. Endless drills, hours of waiting around. Then boom, right out of nowhere, action so hot you've got no time to think. I'm Lieutenant Dominic DiMarzo, Fire Marshal for the USS Intrepid. Been a fireman all my life. I was Fire Chief in Long Beach, California, but after Pearl Harbor, I joined the Navy along with 70 of my firefighters. Most of us ended up right here, aboard the Intrepid.
Yeah, old man DiMarzo and his boys sure know how to put out a fire, but it's my job to make sure they don't have to. I'm an anti-aircraft gunner, Corporal Dean Lesnick, United States Marine Corps. Signed up the day after Pearl Harbor, straight out of a steel mill in Pittsburgh, PA. I reckon that's about exactly on the other side of the world from where we are now.
Intrepid joined the Pacific Fleet in January of '44 and right into the thick of it.
Our planes blasted Japanese strongholds in the Marshalls and on.
But in February, a torpedo hit cost us some shipmates and sent us home for repairs.
We came back in August for the invasion of the Palaus.
Then in October, it was on to the Philippines, for what turned out to be the biggest naval action in history, the Battle of Leyte Gulf.
Our planes helped sink 28 Jap warships, including the super battleship Musashi. They said we put the Japanese Navy out of action for good.
But it wasn't ships that worried us anymore. Leyte Gulf had given us our first taste of the latest Jap tactic, the kamikaze. We lost 10 more men, but the worst was still to come. It's now 12:51 on November 25th, 1944. We've launched our planes to attack targets in the Philippines. I'm at my battle station on the hangar deck. Can't see any Japs from down here, but from the sound of our anti-aircraft guns, you can bet they've seen us.
We fought off the first attack, but now radar's picked up 2 more bogies coming in from astern. They're closing fast. A whole fleet's opening up on them. Yes, last one. But the second plane's still closing. He's taking hits, but keeps coming. Can't get an angle on it. My God, he's headed straight for us.
Sweet Jesus! That went off up in the gallery deck. Must have been ready room for 4 where the radar operators are being briefed. Got me with them. Nobody's walking out of there alive. But there's fire in the hangar bay. It's up to me and my boys to put it out and save this ship. We've trained for years to be ready for something like this, but this is no drill.
Oh no, here comes another one. We've got to buy the fire crews more time to get things under control down there. It's only been a few minutes since the last attack. We can't take another hit. Alright, here it comes. Ain't enough to just hit these things, you gotta blast them right out of the sky. We're throwing everything we've got at them. Still coming. Still coming. Oh God, he's gonna get through.
The second kamikaze crashed into the flight deck after us. Its bomb smashed through the hangar bay to where we were still fighting fires from the first hit, right where you're standing now, and exploded. Around you were gassed up, full of ammo. Every time one blew up, it just set more on fire. It was an inferno. The bomb's blast had killed or wounded most of the boys in damage control, but our shipmates rushed into the heat and smoke to take their place. It took almost 2.5 hours to extinguish the last of the fires, but we did it. We'd saved the Intrepid.
now hear this. All hands, secure general quarters. Secure general quarters. Set torpedo defense watch.
At 1720, the ship was secured from general quarters. It was time to count our dead. The two kamikazes had claimed the lives of 69 officers and men. If you'd been standing right where you are now, at 1300 hours on November 25th, 1944, you would have been standing next to me, and you too would have lost your life in the service of your country.
Thomas, Fury.
Charles Herbert Stephen.
Dominic DeMars.
William Donaldson. Ray Dennis. Almir.
George B. Kohler. John Fred Fisher. John Otto Harold Hiroshima.
Wow, that was super powerful. A bit on the sensational side, at least with all the explosions and everything. Just one thing to note, in that video they did use some terms that are now outdated. And the reason they used terms to describe our enemies and just in general our enemies during that time was in a way to make them feel like another, allow the soldiers to feel like they can attack them. You know, those terms are definitely a tool for kind of distancing yourself, making yourself feel different from the other. So those terms are indeed outdated. So just so when you watch these videos, and we might encounter more of these terms being used throughout this museum or any type of war museum, just know that these words are indeed outdated, and those sentiments, luckily, at least here in the US and some other parts of the world, are also outdated. SF Field says to dehumanize. Yes, indeed, yeah. And there's a lot of aspects as we look at this museum. It might be really cool to see the planes. It might be really cool to see all the warship and everything. just remember that there's so much more to the war on all ends of World War II, of Korean War, Vietnam War, all these other wars. On all ends, there was a lot more to what happened, from Japanese internment camps to the travesties that happened in Cambodia and Laos, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on. So you're not seeing the full story here. And my intention is not to show you the full story because we're just at a museum, but just keep that in mind as you're walking around. And yeah, there's also a trigger warning. Should have mentioned that my heart goes out to anyone who suffers from PTSD. I hope you're okay. I hope you did not accidentally bump into this, and I hope yeah, I hope you're okay. Is this on the carrier itself? Yes, we are on the carrier itself. Yes, we're in the 4th hangar. So here's the Vietnam War exhibition. Satu, thank you again so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, Satu. Thank you so much, Joe. I'm so happy you're enjoying it. Steven says thank you to the Navy and the services who fought in World War II and lost their lives. Indeed, indeed. Joe, I didn't know my father had 2 Purple Hearts till after he passed. Wow. That's amazing, Joe. Thanks to your grandfather for his service. 2 Purple Hearts. 2 Purple Hearts. That's impressive. All right, let's continue walking around. All right, here it says descent abroad. Oh, descent on board. I assume there was issues on certain areas of the military during the Vietnam War. All right, everyone, no politics on this channel at all. and no talk about current news or medical issues. So let's not talk about that at all. Let's keep the good vibes in the comments. Yes, we are in the War Museum, but let's discuss more of the elements of the gear and the tech and everything. That's a little bit more fun. So no politics, no discussion about the pandemic, and no current news. Oh, you used to be able to step inside this. I did it when I last came here. This is the A6 intruder cockpit. Daryl asks, is there any ghost sightings on the Intrepid? I don't know, I haven't heard of any. But if anyone does know any, do let us know. Oh, I used to be able to walk inside this too, but they blocked it off because of the pandemic. This is kind of cool. Look at that. I think there was an Unsolved Mysteries episode about it. Hey, was there a ghost story associated with the Intrepid? Do let me know. I would be very curious to hear about it. Can I press this? That's funny. So those are the ship sounds. Oh, here we have the space shuttle. Oh, look at this. They used to play paddleball or table tennis. You should do more museum walks. I love walking through. Too, Vish. Here in the U.S. is a bit tough. History museums I can easily do videos. Art museums is where it gets tough to make videos. In the U.S. at least. Europe is much easier. So when I go to Europe, you'll definitely see a lot more museums. I had great fun in that area, says Kay. Oh, I'm so glad, Kay. Yeah, this is like kind of the interactive part of the exhibition. Let's check out the submarine. I'm so glad I got service here also because I came here 2 years ago and there was very bad service in this section. So, yes, to the USS Intrepid for somehow installing some cell towers inside. All right, let's see if we can go in. Excuse me. So here's the sleeping quarters. Oh, wow, you would sleep underneath a torpedo? Yeah, literally. Yeah, crew members would sleep in bunk beds. Crazy. Would you sleep over a torpedo? Let me know in the comments. Would you sleep above a torpedo? That is crazy. Here's like, oh, this is bringing me back memories of like the submarine movie fad of the late 80s. Anyone saw The Hunt for Red October? What's your favorite submarine movie? There's a lot of them, surprisingly. It's like an entire subgenre of war films. Mag says you had to limit the space. Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's all, the military is all about efficiency. That's why another interesting thing about these museums is yes, as I mentioned, I acknowledge all the lives that were lost and the terrible atrocities that happened during war. Okay, let's move beyond that. That's definitely something that always has to be acknowledged. But when you notice, a lot of technology has popped out of military. So a lot of the efficiency of planning for sleeping arrangements, for beds, for making food in mass, for even the jackets. This jacket, for example, this jacket also comes from military. So a lot of things come from the military. It dates back centuries. And it's because in the context of war or military, you have to have efficiency with everything, from clothing to food to sleeping arrangements to everything. Robert says also computers. Yes, computing. Alan Turing wouldn't have innovated the computer if it weren't for the military because they subsidized his projects. So, yeah. Electricity too. Nazi gave us rockets. Indeed they did. Indeed they did. So if we weren't, to get into space, we used some technology that was from our enemies. So yeah. Petter, thank you so much. Petter, 200 Swedish krona. I appreciate you, Petter and Satu. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And let me know, I asked if people were veterans or had family or veterans. I'm not just speaking about the US. I know sometimes some other countries might be a little bit more nervous about saying they're a veteran. But yeah, feel free to let us know. No judgments here. Alan Turing is now being put in the new UK banknotes. Oh, that's so awesome. He definitely deserves it. Such a great scientist who innovated computing in order to break codes from the enemy. Hello, Lapin. Hello, Stephanie. Nice to see you here. Do you know there's a space shuttle in the museum? I do, Adam. We're gonna see if we can see it. Alexandra, oh, your family was in the maritime military. Oh, interesting. Just Kate, nice to see you here. So this was another feature that they used to do, which was the 4D experience. Of course, with the pandemic, a lot of things are closed. And ooh, they had the flight simulators. Oh, I wish these were open. I would totally love to ride a flight simulator. This is the G-Force Encounter. It costs $12 extra, aside from the mission. So as I mentioned, the mission is $33, but I think veterans either come very, very inexpensive or free. So if you're a veteran of the US military, you can come here potentially for free or very, very low price. All right, let's see if we can go to the... Oh, I don't think the space shuttle is this way. So we gotta go up here. Okay. What is this? All right, let's go up to the space shuttle. Hopefully there's service, crossing fingers. Stairways are like full metal, so I'm gonna go as fast as possible. If everyone, as I'm walking up the stairs, let me know how the internet is doing. Let me know how the stream is going. I didn't have the chance to test this beforehand. Oh my God. So here is a Concorde. We'll go downstairs to see it soon. And look at this. Oh my God. That's crazy.
Either you call him and you let him know what he's gonna do, or that's the end.
That's so cool. And again, I might say that things are cool. I do understand that these weapons were used for the death and destruction of countless people. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But that doesn't mean that we can't find like samurai armor cool, even though, yes, it was also used for the death of people or airplanes cool, you know. So, yeah. So I might say something's cool just because I find it cool right now, but it is. We do have to acknowledge that a lot of people, it was used for death and destruction. So this is the Concorde. Ticket prices were extremely expensive. It was noisy, it was cramped, but yet you can get to New York to London. I think it was only like 3 hours, which is insanely quick. Adam says, what is the reason for this battleship? I'll show you. We're about to see it right now, right over here, with the beautiful views of the city. Look at that. Press that like button, slam it right now if you're enjoying this video, and let me know if you're in team like. Show you more beautiful views. So the main purpose of an aircraft carrier is, let's say you're having a battle like in World War II in the middle of the Pacific. The Pacific Ocean is gigantic, and because it's so gigantic, it's hard to refuel by flying to a nearby island. Sometimes the enemy has occupation of the island, like Japan occupied many islands around the Pacific, and there was no access to a nearby island within the distance required to refuel. This is where aircraft carriers came into play. They were basically refueling, landing, and arrival stations for planes. There were a lot more functions than that, but that's the primary function. So here's the Space Shuttle Pavilion. Let's go into the space shuttle and then come back out. Let's see. Let's wait. All right. Hopefully there's good service here. Let's see. Hey, no photo. Thank you. Do we have service? You guys seeing me fine? Hopefully. Cross your fingers. I think the Concorde was $6,000 per flight. Interesting, yeah. And here we are. Ooh, I'm so glad we have service. We're underneath the space shuttle. The USS Enterprise, ladies and gentlemen. Not to be confused with the grand ship from Star Trek. Hey Tom from Germany, keep up the good work. Thank you so much for a five euro super chat. Appreciate you, Tom. Thank you. Whoa, this wing is a huge wing. Akab says, space, the final frontier. To boldly go when no man has gone before. We are the USS Enterprise. Earl Grey hot. Let me know what we're referring to. Akab started the reference. What is the Boldly Go? Well, what planet is Boldly Go? Do they ever go to Boldly Go? Because they say to boldly go where no man has gone before. So no man has gone to Boldly Go? It's one of the mysteries. All right, we gotta go wide angle for this one. Picard says fake. Is this a fake or is this the real one? Let me know. We'll double check. Rob says there's coffee in the nebula of Boldly Go. SF Fields says, no offense. SF Fields, you're personally offending me because I am NASA. No, I'm joking. No worries, SF Fields. No offense taken. I don't work for NASA. Let us know. Has SF Fields offended anyone here? Do you work for NASA? Let us know. Max says it's the real one? Yep. The real one. SF Fields says it looks like a gigantic appliance. Oh my God. We're right in the front. It's kind of cool though. It has ridges. Interesting. Is it because of water? You know, when you look at a photo, you don't notice the ridges. Rob is saying that this is part of the grand conspiracy to convince everyone that the world is round when the world is actually flat. Yeah, very elaborate planning that the USS Intrepid Museum went through. Come on now. You know those are the heap tiles to dissipate re-entry heat. I did not know, Prometheus. Thank you so much for letting us know. The round hatches to get a donut in. Oh, cool. Paul, thank you so much for letting us know as well. Thank you. So here, you can take it to go to Boldly Go. Do you want to go to space with Elon Musk? Asked Stephanie. You know what? I don't have too much interest in going to Mars. Not so much. I only have interest in going to space if it's convenient. This is why I run Urbanist, ladies and gentlemen, not naturist or extremist. You know, That wouldn't be actually a good channel name at all. But that's why I don't run Naturist. It's because I like cities. I like convenience of cities. I like getting around subway. I like the ability to walk places. I don't care for space until it's convenient, until it's as easy as a subway ride, which by the year maybe 2113, I'll be able to go and take a nice ride to space. Then I would do it. When I'm around the age of 250 years old, 100%, I'm down. This is located around 45th Street and the 11th Avenue. Would you buy this as a condo? Let me know. Hella says, but you're an explorer. An explorer of convenience. That's what you can call me. So here is the Soyuz TMA-6. Are the seats comfortable? I don't know. That's a nice apartment, says toilet brush. Indeed. Rent, $3,000 a month. Soyuz. Thank you. Seat test. I wish I could test the seat, but no way in. Learn to fly, then fly yourself to the UK, says Susie. That seems like a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. I think many of you are getting the wrong impression that, oh, you know, Ariel likes to make a lot of videos. He's always researching all this history. Yeah, you know, easily he can go flight school and then fly over to Europe and do a live stream while flying. No. There's a limit to what I want to do when it comes to making these videos. We're here at the backside, reporting from the backside of the space shuttle. In the rear, there's a very big rear. Let's get close to the landings. Alexandra, did I ever watch the stars with the telescope? No, not really. It's like 8 feet. This is making me want to watch the film Prometheus by Ridley Scott. How much do you think it weighs? That's a great question. I actually don't know. And I don't see any stats on it. Let's see if we can find some stats. Yeah, over here I think we'll find some stats. So the Enterprise, this is not the one we're looking at. This is a different Enterprise, but maybe we can almost compare. This was served in 1976 to 1985. 5 atmospheric glide tests, but did not go into orbit, did not go into space. Hey, Teresa, your son has a small flight simulator at home. He plays over his big screen. We go flying all the time. Ah, Teresa, you have a son who's a pilot, who's a future pilot. If he's playing those video games, he probably wants to be a pilot. No, this is not the Star Trek Enterprise. No, ladies and gentlemen. Cynthia, no. Yes, Ariel, that was a cool movie. I'm so glad people enjoyed Prometheus. This is one of my favorite films, favorite sci-fi films. All right. So say goodbye to the USS Enterprise. Now let's see all the planes outside. But first, the gift shop. Do they have the space? Oh yeah, they do have the space ice cream. I remember this. I never actually tried it, the space ice cream. It looks terrible. It's like $7 each for space ice cream. It's as hard as a rock. It's like a cookie. Let me know if you remember this as a little kid growing up in America. Very popular souvenir. All right, let's go outside. All the cast of Star Trek were in the opening of this museum. No, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. The original, or was it the Next Generation? Probably the original, I would assume. That's so awesome. I wish I was there. I would love to hang out with William Shatner. Kay says, I bought some space ice cream in Florida. Yeah, it's a very typical tourist thing. You were surprised how nice it was. Interesting. I'm blown away by the magical view. Yeah, I'll show you more of the view. This was featured, this view and the Intrepid was featured in the film I Am Legend, where Will Smith is a man who survived the zombie apocalypse and plays golf on the Intrepid for fun. Ooh, what is this? Teresa, you say the space food is delicious. Interesting. Shatner did a live chat and he's 90 years old, says Marie. Oh, that's so cool. He looks so young for 90. Oh my God, Shatner really preserves himself very well. So here, this reminds me of Top Gun. There's the Chance Vote F-8K Crusader. This is Vietnam War.
Thank you guys for the questions.
Oh, we have one.
Hello again? Sure.
Cue the Top Gun music, everyone. SF says, "Welcome to the danger zone." Are you more of a maverick, or are you what's the Val Kilmer character? Let me know. What's the Val Kilmer character in Top Gun? What was his nickname? The FF4 Phantom. This is the kamikaze. Oh, let's see. Oh, doesn't say what this is. You should have done a coffee and ice cream. We're at the museum, so no, really not coffee here to be had. Top Gun was the F-14 Tomcat, so we're gonna see if we can find the Tomcat. Hey, Toronto 4K, aka 4K Wanderer, aka Colin, aka a super urbanist. Iceman and Goose. Awesome, thank you. So let me know, are you a Maverick, an Iceman, or a Goose? I don't know, I'm not sure who wants to be a Goose, but let me know. Which one are you? I find myself more of a Maverick. Hey, just Kate, I met Shatner at Star Trek Con in the UK. Oh, so cool. That's so awesome. I would love to meet him. I would love to do a live video with him. Let me know if you want me to do a live video with William Shatner. Mags considers yourself more of a Maverick. Goose would be was married to Meg Ryan, so John says I'm definitely a Goose. Touche, touche. Here's the British Aerospace AC Harrier. So we got a British plane over here, ladies and gentlemen. Photos around New York says do a video with William Shatner. Hello from Egypt. Hello, AMR. Nice to see you here. Did the sequel come out? It was supposed to come out last year, but I think they're going to release it later this year. But I'm not sure because movie theaters really haven't opened yet. Look for the twin vert stabilizers. All right, we'll check it out. Twin vert stabilizers. Oh, look at this. We see Hudson Yards right over there. Stephanie says, George Takei says William Shatner is not a nice person. It's funny because I've heard the opposite. I think he's a love or hate it kind of person. So this is the Bell UH-1A Iroquois, also known as Huey. Cue the Ride of the Valkyries. Ronald says, "Get in the chopper," like what Arnold Schwarzenegger says. Is it in the film Predator? I think that's the film that he says, "Get in the chopper." Look at this one. Ooh, I like this. Coast Guard, Brooklyn. Satu, thank you so much for 500 yen, Satu. I appreciate you. Daryl says, new urbanist mode of transportation. Indeed. We'll get around the city on the chopper. With the Top Gun music. We'll have some Top Gun music made for us. It's so much fun. If anyone wants me to read a little bit more of the signs, do let me know. Always happy to do a dramatic reading of any of the museum signs. Ronaldo is asking for Urbanist Airways coming to an airport near you. the entire airplane is painted Urbanist orange. You end up getting some Urbanist orange black and white cookies as a treat. The SE7, the SE71, which one is it? Glory says, yes, please. Ooh, I like this. The Demon was a swept-wing all-weather fighter equipped with cannons and air-to-air missiles. It was ordered in 1949 And the first flight of the prototype took place in August 7th, 1951. It was designed and built by the McDowell Aircraft Corporation, now known as Boeing, of St. Louis, Missouri. It was primarily intended to counter the Soviets' new swept-wing fighter, the MiG-15, which the Soviets were supplying to North Korea. Oh, this gets very, very spicy. Most notably, the Demon was a design linked to its eventual replacement, McDowell's phenomenal F-4 Phantom, which became operational in 1960. The Phantom started as a major redesign of the Demon. It had a second engine and aerodynamic refinements that will allow it to reach speeds of 1,500 miles per hour. Though the Phantom II is a vastly superior airplane, its family resemblance to the Demon is unmistakable. Thank you, sign. Can you imagine taking off from this aircraft carrier? Yes, in this one, I can. Toronto says my new nickname is Ariel Vieira, not Ariel, Ariel, like an aerial flight. I'm flying this one, like, ladies and gentlemen. I really like the look of it. It seems like unnecessarily big for what it's supposed to be. So yeah, this one. I'm gonna paint it Urbanist orange. We're gonna get out of here, go to Brooklyn for a coffee. Who wants to go on the coffee for this? We'll land in Williamsburg waterfront. This is the Grumman E1B Tracer. What is this used for? In 1954, the U.S. Navy began to develop a carrier-based aircraft that would provide early warning, surveillance, and airborne control functions for the fleet. The result for the Grumman E1B Tracer, the most distinctive feature was the random, the aerodynamic structure over the wing. The random, I might be mispronouncing that, concealed a massive dish-type radar system called the APS-82, which has a search radius of 250 miles. So I might be able to use this to put a satellite dish so I can have great service for live streaming all the time. This is wonderful, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the Ray Dome. Thank you so much, Upper West Sider. This is going to be the official Urbanist plane. I'm going to install, instead of a radar system, I'm going to install a satellite for Wi-Fi, so I can just have great Wi-Fi everywhere I go, including flying over to the Williamsburg waterfront for some coffee. Interesting characters that they use for the sigil. The Ray Dome, Susie, is a radar, concealed on purpose. Jerry says no, it's for detecting enemy YouTubers. Jerry, touche, Jerry, touche. Big dreamer, Ariel. It's good to dream. I dream big, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I do. I'll show you more of the views before we go downstairs. Oh, we got more here. They look like griffins. Yeah, I think they were griffins, yeah. Here's a circle line. You take the cruise around Manhattan Island. Really cool. I've shown it before. Julio says, dream big. You can always downsize. Indeed you can. That's great piece of advice. I like that. Oh, let me show you more of the skyscrapers. Petter says, have a coffee on me. Thank you so much, Petter. I appreciate you. Ronald says this is an anti-streamer aircraft. Take down enemy YouTubers. Take down, I mean, disarm them of their cameras. Not more than that. I was gonna say something. Oh, stay tuned at 5:30 p.m. I'm going to do a live stream of some Puerto Rican food with some Puerto Rican YouTubers. So it's gonna be a very Puerto Rican day at 5:30 p.m. I'll announce that right now. But for the rest of this video, we're gonna take our sweet time, see more of this. If you want me to read any of these signs, do let me know.